Good morning. This is Deb from Just Do Something Homestead. And I have been sick for a couple weeks now, but we are back in the saddle. And what we are doing is building gates. We built some fences this year, and the purpose of these fences was actually to go around the yard because of our dog Betsy, and then to also go around the perimeter of our garden, which is in the same space. I wanted our dog to be able to go into that garden to keep predators out. Now, in West Virginia, we are having a major drought. We are still having a drought. So this is pretty crispy out here. But we were able to get the fence up and around everything. But what we didn't have was our gates. And so this week, we are building the gates to our fences. Because the area is kind of wonky shaped and, all different size, we have to make custom gates. And this gate actually goes this way. So it is very wide, but it's only about 4 feet tall. We do not have deer that come from our garage area into our backyard. They're just not going to enter from that direction. And because the deer don't enter our yard from the direction of our driveway, here's our driveway and our lane, we don't have to worry about them jumping over just a 4-foot fence. So around the back it is 4 feet, but everywhere else it is 6 feet. And we've had this fence up since spring with 0 predators, deer, anything in that garden. But Jim has taken off this week and he is doing a staycation. We have a brand new grandbaby that was just born, so he spent a couple days visiting, and now he's back here getting ready to finish this gate. Now, as he would say, it's not a very fancy gate, but you know what? We don't need fancy. We need something that is going to work. So I am off to school, and I have a feeling when I get home, this gate is going to be finished. So it is very early in the morning, but I wanted to quickly show the progress that he has made. We have a brick house, so he started by screwing 2 2x4s onto the house to form a very tight and strong area to attach the gate. And I have a feeling when we get home, or when I get home today, there's going to be a gate right here. Well, I was correct on that. I just got home and Jim has been working on this gate all day long. He had to just leave and try to go get some wire so that he can get this finished. But the gate itself is on here. He said he had some problems because of those pavers. He had to actually dig them out and lower them just a bit. But the only thing left to do is to put the wire on the back of it. He even has the latch all done on there, so pretty cool. A couple very important things to consider when you're building your fences. You want heavy duty, very strong hinges. And so we put some pretty big ones on there. And we made sure that, as I showed you at the beginning of the day, it's attached to something that is very structurally sound. So this is onto our bricks. This is not going to loosen up. It's not going to start bending inward, but you need to have some very powerful hinges. When talking latches, we really like to use this type on our Homestead. Let me go over to the side. But all you have to do is pick it up and it will open. We always have it so that it's downhill and will open quickly. And then to close it, we just push it back and it latches. So it makes it super duper easy when your hands are full. Second point to consider is the width of your gate. And as I said, this one was pretty wide. It's over 6 foot. We did that on purpose because we need to be able to get our lawnmower into our backyard. So always consider what you're going to need to get in there. Our garden is in there. We need to get our rototiller in. Now, we can bring our tractor in from the other side of the fence, but to go into our yard, make sure that your gates are wide enough. Make them wider than you think. You will not regret it. And just like that, Jim put all the fencing on the inside of our gate and wrapped up yet another project. And now we can safely keep Betsy in the yard. That was part of our concerns, is keeping her in. But I think for us, one of the bigger concerns is keeping things out. So once in a while, we have some dogs that just come through our property, and this is going to keep grandkids and pets safe in this little area of our yard. The basic plan for these gates is to use 2x4s that are pressure treated. And as you can see, Jim crossed them in the center. He has an outside frame This extension right here is simply for the hinges because we use very large hinges so they can support the weight. And then on all corners, he has put these little pieces of wood. It's about, I'd say 1 inch by maybe 5 inches. And so that seems pretty secure for what we need. You just got to make sure that it's not too heavy for the hinges, because if you do that, it's going to slant, and so you don't want to do it. Now on this side, we already had a post, so he did have to fill it in with a couple boards. But this is our standard pattern that we use for our fences and our gates. On the inside of the fence, we have used welded wire that is 2 by 4, so it's 2 inches this way, 4 inches that way. And we have simply stapled that onto the frame of our gate. Now this one is our front gate. This goes to our front yard, and believe it or not, we have more deer that come through our front yard than we do our backyard. And so you need to keep that in mind, which is why on this side we have a 6-foot fence. And that entire fence goes around. So because of that, we also needed a 6-foot gate. No matter how large or small your fenced-in area is, I recommend having at least 2 gates. For this area, we have 2 gates, one at the front of the property, which is our front yard, and the one that we are just putting in now, which comes from the driveway. But we also have an access area at the back of the garden so that we can get in with the tractor and the rototiller. So you want to consider at least 2 gates, even 3 would be good. As I showed before, it's so easy to open these locks, but what we've decided is we are going to put something in there so that it doesn't get bumped and we don't know and open our back door and let the dog out just to find that the gate had been left wide open. So our next goal is to put a little lock on there. I think one of the other things is our chickens are not far from here, and so I often have my hands full of buckets and things, and I can just bump this and it's gonna open, and that is so convenient. And then you can come on in and just give it a slam and it holds. I've showed this much of our garden and our yard, but a lot of people keep saying, well, we want to see your garden. We want to see it. So I'm going to show you a little bit of our garden. Now, remember, this is mid-September. We had temperatures in the 40s last night. So our garden is winding on down. We are almost finished with it, but we still have quite a bit out there. And another question I have is, why do you have a mailbox at your garden? Well, this mailbox actually holds my tools, and so I can put my tools in there and then they're handy for when I'm working in my garden. Our tomato plants are really small this year. They never grew to the height that we usually have. They're only about 3 feet tall, but as you can see, they are still loaded with tomatoes. And this shows the depth of our garden. It goes all the way back. We still have a lot of produce growing. We got it in so late that it is now producing very well. And this is the back end of the garden. And so I don't remember how long this fence is, but it is very long. We installed that late spring, and the garden attaches to our yard because I wanted our dog, Betsy, to be able to come into the garden. I think it really has helped deter any animals. We've had no animals in this area. Look at these watermelons. I love watermelon. We have 6 of them right here. I actually have 20 watermelon in this row alone. And my garden goes along the back of our chicken run, and that way our chickens are always connected to our garden. There's a 6-foot fence in between them, but this is how I can easily clean up my garden and throw everything over the fence that we don't eat, and they do. My goodness, aren't you loud today? Honestly, I just love chickens. I love watching them. I love hearing them. They are just a lot of fun. Planted some mini sunflowers, but my goodness, look how tiny it is. That is definitely mini. If you enjoyed this video on how to make gates for your fenced-in yard or your garden, then please like, subscribe, and share. Have a blessed day, everybody. Bye-bye.